words revealed her faith in the resurrection, but it also exposed a pitiful faith in a right now God. I'll make it plain. Martha was like many of us are in today's world. We have what I call someday faith. A someday faith says, one of these days, I'm going to get my healing in my blood. One of these old days, he's going to make it all right. However, Faith Fellowship Church and faith partners, I want us to be a group of people that has right now faith. That says, I am healed. I am blessed. I am better. Not just tomorrow, but somebody say right now. You see, it doesn't take that much faith to place your hope in the future. You know, it's going, it will. It'll happen next year sometime. He'll eventually get to it. But it takes a whole lot of faith to say, despite my difficulties, I'm blessed anyhow. Despite my sickness, I'm already healed. Despite the death of a loved one, God is still good to me. Look at somebody around you and say, I got right now faith. Although Martha knew that one day there would be a resurrection from the dead, she didn't believe that Jesus could help her right now. Can't you hear Jesus saying to her, Martha, you're waiting for a resurrection. But don't you know that I'm the resurrection and the life? But my brothers and my sisters, we all will have to die one day. As a pastor, I got to tell you the whole truth. We're not living to just live it now. We're living to live again. But if you have Jesus in your life, death is really not the end. It got real quiet because we don't like to talk about that. But I've come to tell you that death is not the final say-so. Death is not the end. If you have Jesus, we will have eternal life. So Jesus told Martha, read it on your own time. He said, he that believeth in me, though he were dead, yet shall live again. And whosoever rather liveth and believeth in me shall never die. However, it's good to know that you don't have to die to gain eternal life. He said, he that believeth on the Son have everlasting life. And so Martha would soon discover that her despair would be short-lived. And I've come to tell somebody today that your despair is short-lived. I don't care how bad it is. I've come to tell you that your despair is short-lived. Even though Jesus delayed his arrival, even though her brother Lazarus was already dead, and although she and her sister was deep in despair, since Jesus is the resurrection and the life, they found out that now is the time to trust God for a miracle. And can I come down your road? I've come to tell you on this Sunday morning that now is the time to trust God. I know that things are uncomfortable, but now is the time to trust God. Don't you wait till tomorrow. Don't you wait till Thanksgiving. Look at your neighbor and say, right now, I'm going to trust him. Finally, I got to get out of here. Let me say a word in this house. That's what the Lord gave me as we were on the way home from the restaurant last night. Something happened there. Thank you for the invite because God stirred me up. Finally, I got a word in the house. As I was perusing the text, I didn't see it this way, but this is how God gave it to me. Not only will we have to deal with delay, not only will God give us victory over despair, but let me say a final word in this house. I've come to prophesy over you and me. Expect a dramatic and divine demonstration of Jesus. Y'all didn't catch it. It was too many D's, but I'll give it to you again. Expect a dramatic and divine demonstration of Jesus. Why a dramatic and divine demonstration? Well, here in the text, the entire incident takes place for the glory of God. That's why Jesus delayed his return to Bethany, so that the gardeners from Bethany and nearby Jerusalem would witness this great miracle. I'll give it to you this way. Why Jesus prayed out loud and in public. He did it so the crowd of unbelieving bystanders could be convinced of the Father's approval on his Son and his claim of deity. Jesus could have just looked and Lazarus would have come forward. But he prayed out loud. See, sometimes we're chosen to pray out loud and to lead a life of faith around in our surroundings. Not just for us, not for us at all to be a wonder, but for God to get the glory. And that's why Jesus spoke to the dead Lazarus in a loud voice. His loud voice was not for the benefit of Lazarus to hear, because if he had just whispered, if he had just, he couldn't even have to open his mouth and just said it, and Lazarus would have come forth. But he said with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. It was for the bystanders. It wasn't for the benefit of Lazarus. It was for the bystanders. Can I tell you what's going on in your life? This next dramatic and divine demonstration of Jesus is going to be for the bystanders. Look at somebody and say, this one is for the bystanders. You looking but ain't liking the post, it's for the bystanders. You know what we doing, but you don't want to give no credit. Stealing what you doing, but it's for the bystanders. Look at somebody and say, it's for the bystanders. In spite of protests and concerns that by now the body of Lazarus had surely been decayed and stinking, Jesus commanded the bystanders to roll the stone away. Verse 43 reads, and when he had thus spoken, he cried with a loud voice, Lazarus, come forth. And the Bible report is from the CNN Bible version. It's reported to me that Lazarus come forth. It reported to me that Lazarus obeyed. It's reported to me that Lazarus obeyed. And I've come to tell you, somebody in here, Lazarus, will you obey? As with the other miracles or signs recorded in John's gospel. But there is more. I'm almost there. There is more to this miracle than meets the eye. Let's look a little closer at this dramatic and divine demonstration. The resurrection of Lazarus was accomplished by the power and the enablement of Jesus. By this I mean that when he raised Lazarus from the grave, when he raised Lazarus from the grave, Jesus also dealt with the physical aspects of resurrecting a body that had been dead for 4 days. When he dealt with not just the spiritual aspect, but I've come to tell you, don't expect in this time and season in your life for God to just deal with the physical aspect of your miracle, but God is going to deal with a tangible experience in your life. Jesus deals with the physical aspects of resurrecting a body that had been dead and now stinking for 4 days. Flesh that had begun to decay was now regenerated. Brain cells that had been destroyed by a lack of oxygen were brought back to life. Muscles that had been paralyzed by rigor mortis were now rejuvenated. Coagulated blood had began to flow again, spreading life throughout the body of Lazarus. I feel like preaching now. Jesus dramatically demonstrated his power over life, over death, and even the grave. He demonstrated that even though Lazarus' body had begun to decay, although brain cells had been destroyed, although rigor mortis had set in, and his life-giving blood had begun to clot, it ain't never too late with Jesus. Good evening, y'all. May the Lord bless you real good. I look forward to seeing you at 5 p.m. But before I go, I've come to tell you that before the final resurrection comes, the one that Martha was talking about in the text, I need to tell you that God has some resurrections to perform in your life. I come to tell you that it ain't too late for your home. It ain't too late for your relationships. It ain't too late for your career. It ain't too late for your finances. As I speak, I see it now. He's resurrecting wrecked marriages. He's resurrecting broken, busted, and disgusted dysfunctional families. He's resurrecting lives that have been crippled by crack cocaine and destroyed by needles and drugs. In spite of the long delays, he sent me here to tell you, don't despair despite of the delay. Don't despair if you see the grave close, that you might, that which was dead will be resurrected once more. The doctor said that it was too late. The studies have concluded that it's too late. Surveys and statistics say that it's too late. Your wife said it's too late. Your husband said it's too late. Your boo thing said and they that it's too late. Your family said it's too late. And if you tell the truth, even you said it's too late because you believe what they said. They said you'll never make it. They said you'll never amount to anything. They said you were no good. They said you were too black, too skinny, too fat, too short, from the wrong side of the track. Your daddy left, and your mama don't say you love you. They said